Hi everybody, welcome. On February 23rd, we've got a new moon at 4 degrees and 28 minutes of Pisces. Pisces and Capricorn are the predominant energies at the time of this new moon. We've got 4 planets in Pisces: Sun, Moon, Mercury, Neptune. So we've got a rulership of Neptune energy. And we've got 4 planets in Capricorn: Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto and Mars, ruled by Saturn. So we've got 2 very different frequencies going on. The fact that it's water and earth makes them quite complementary. But we're looking at Neptune, which has to do with dreams, and Saturn has to do with reality. Neptune, romance, dreaming up how wonderful somebody is, or you might win the lottery, or just something that might be out of reality. And then we've got Saturn, which is daily life, your daily routines, going to work, cooking your food, going shopping, all those tangible things. Neptune is the ethereal. Saturn is the real. Neptune would rule the soul energy, and Saturn our physical drives, our animalistic needs for food and shelter and warmth. When you're in the Neptune energy, you can just forget that you need anything at all. When you're only in the Saturn energy, you're very rooted to all your needs, your survival needs. I see this as a very high frequency upwards to the heavens and the stars, and Saturn the downward frequency of the ground, our earth, our responsibilities. So we're dealing with Neptune, the invisible, and Saturn, that which we can see, that's material. To me, Saturn is very much science. When somebody's got a strong Saturn in their chart, they might be a doctor or go into the medical field. Saturn wants to prove something is true, wants to know it, wants to see it. Neptune just has faith that something is so. It's a very different energy. Neptune can bring chaos. If you've got things all over the place, which Neptune can bring, addictions, drugs, drinking, alcohol, any kind of addiction would be to do with Neptune. And Saturn can bring order. Saturn brings structure and says, no, I'm not going to have that cigarette. I'm not going to give way to that addictive impulse. So we need both. It's not one without the other. But this new moon very much is giving a focal point for us to look at. Where am I too weighed down with responsibilities and structures? Where am I living in la-la land? Where do I need to get real? What part of my life is unreal? So we need the structure. We need certain rules. If you just let children eat whatever they want to eat, it might not be the best thing for their physical health and well-being. So maybe you need to bring in some discipline. So this new moon is an opportunity, I feel, with all these aspects going on, for you to look at your life and to look at, what am I being pulled towards? Because Mars is conjunct to the South Node. So you might be pulled back to old habit patterns, old ways of doing things. And with a new moon, you're being encouraged to do things in a gentler way, because the North Node is in Cancer and it's trine to this Sun and Moon. So how can you be a little more gentle? Yes, we need those structures, but how can I be gentle with myself? How can I be nurturing and kind to others? But at the same time, I must know, where are my boundaries? what stops where. Because if you've no boundaries, you're just floating around, you're an amorphous blob. You need a certain definition. Our bodies have definition. Our faces have certain definition. So, can you set a new resolution? Always with a new moon, it's a new canvas. But this area would have this new moon would have a lot to do with how you set boundaries and how you know when somebody's overstepping a boundary, and how do you know when you need to go beyond what is comfortable for you. Because very often abiding by laws and rules is sometimes you don't want to do that. And yet if you delay gratification for something, when you're really hungry, right, and you delay food and you delay food, you do the Saturn thing, you say, no, I want to lose weight, I don't want to eat as much. But then when you do eat, it tastes a million times sweeter than when you're just eating because you're just a little peckish. It's a different energy. So what we're looking at here is, what can you learn from the past? Saturn has very much to do with the past. And what do you need to release at the time of this new moon so that you can be free? This is a wonderful time to look at, what are you visualizing? What's your vision for yourself? Neptune has to do with dreams and visions. So when you have a vision, here's a great quote I like from Napoleon Hill from Think and Grow Rich. He said, the oak sleeps in the acorn. The bird waits in the egg. And in the highest vision of the soul, a waking angel stirs. Dreams are the seeds of reality. So what are your dreams? And what are you going to do? Take some concrete steps to make those dreams a reality. To me, that's a lot of what this energy is about for this new moon in Pisces. But you've got to be very conscious, very aware, because Neptune energy can fog you, it can confuse you. Yes, it can be a cop-out sometimes. So the Neptune energy will bring out compassion and love. Neptune is all about feeling everybody, because there's no boundary. Ultimately, we are all one. And yet, Saturn, we've got separate lives and separate souls that need to fulfill something on the individual level. I walked out of the house this morning and a lady had just fallen in the street. Poor love. I saw her from the distance. A couple of men came and picked her up, and then they just sort of left her. So I went running over to her and I carried her, helped her along, helped her sit down. She was shaking, the poor woman. Luckily she hadn't hurt herself, so she jabbered away to me in very fast Greek, some of which I understood, some of which I didn't. But I think she just needed to talk. And then I asked her, where would you like to go? And she said, well, I'm going to the church. I said, sure, you link me and I'll take you. So we were walking towards the church, and then she said, well, actually, she said, I need to go to the bank. And I thought, wow, she's obviously feeling a lot better. So I schlepped her to the bank. And then I thought, no, this is enough. She's okay now. I don't need to overstep the boundary. I'd done what she needed. I gave her my phone number in case something came up, and she was okay. So it's knowing when to give, when to go into the Neptune energy, but also knowing when's my job over, or when do I need to care for myself? Because if you don't care for yourself, then you haven't got very much to give to others, at least not as much. So another way of seeing this would be to see Neptune as flowers growing wild. And flowers wild are beautiful, aren't they? But also flowers in a vase, in a structure, in a container, can also be very beautiful. So these are just thoughts that I've been meditating upon for this new moon. I always do a lot of meditation before doing these videos. And for me, what's come from this is Neptune spreads viruses. Neptune is what goes viral. So we've got this whole coronavirus, possible pandemics, all these things going on, a lot of fear-mongering. So we can send a virus of poison that is toxic around our planet. Or we can choose now, at the time of the new moon, to send a virus of love, to send a virus of compassion, to send a virus of caring for one another and ourselves. That's what I am hoping you will join me in for the time of this new moon. The other thing that's very soothing is art and music and anything creative. Done a very small painting, came through to match the colours for the board here for this new moon in Pisces. And also music is very soothing, because music again is universal. We can't separate from one another about music. Well, actually we can, by who should play it in what way. That's how we do it. But nonetheless, music is very healing. And to me, there's a great healing power of music that you can initiate at the time of the new moon. So I'd like to play for you just the first few opening bars of the Schumann Arabesque, which to me really describes this Piscean energy of dreaming, of visioning, and of soothing. So I hope you enjoy it, and I thank you very much for listening. Thank you.